Sigma, Sigma boy, Sigma boy, Sigma boy. Oh, wait. I don't think I can. Red flowers, so I can. I don't want to get rid of my planners. So I don't know if my macro is aware that I'm. Actually, it won't matter because it's gonna act. It's gonna get rid of it anyways. So I'm just not gonna replant it. You know what's crazy?
What?
Like, two of my friends, they share the same birthday as LeBron James.
Oh, they're so lucky. They must be
I know,
blessed.
right? Told him
But they're
that.
basketball players.
I told him to. Yeah, they're both. I told him to enjoy it.
Yeah. Nah, they're so lucky. Yeah, we
So blessed to share a day with the king. You are my sunshine. My only sunshine. You are my duo, my only duo. You give me minis when I am low. I don't know how that works. Oh shit, there's sparkles.
Yeah, I'm gooning.
You're gooning.
Yeah.
Okay. Bro thinks that Diva is within the vicinity.
Yeah.
Overwatch feet porn. Something like that. Is that a thing? Actually, I don't want to know.
Probably.
I can get with feet because I like my girlfriend's feet. I like let you know. So I don't blame anybody that likes feet.
That's really cool, dude. Anyway.
Yeah,
Here we go.
that was a bit too much. Anyways, what were we talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, I hate this guy.
Was not a big fan. Was Mylon streaming his VR?
He wasn't talking, but he was beating up like Italian people.
Reasonable. Reasonable thing to do. You gotta walk in when it comes to.
Yeah, he took like half his battery life just trying to figure out how to stream it.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, I'd be pissed.
Yup.
I can't wait to watch him play G Tag and.
Yep, I can't wait for him to look like an autistic monkey.
I'll probably, yeah. I'll probably have too much fun like messing with kids on G Tag actually. Should ask my parents for a VR headset.
Yeah, you can't say anything like you want to. There's like rules apparently.
There's rules. Yeah, I probably get banned real quick.
Yeah.
I don't care, bro.
I don't care.
How dare they silence my right to speak?
Just cancel culture, you know.
They already went ahead and canceled me. But because I'm like Eminem, you know, you can't cancel me. Go ahead, try it. Go ahead to try and cancel me, like you did with my king, my glorious king Eminem. Go ahead and try it. Go ahead. See for yourself. Cancel me. I'm right here. cancel culture nowadays. Dude, I can't. Oh, I can't stop breathing heavy, bro. I sound like I'm like 500 pounds
I can't
overweight.
breathe, said Joseph.
Said George. I sound like I'm 500 pounds overweight because all I'm doing is breathing heavy into my microphone. I'm not trying to. But my nose is congested as shite. Where are the fine shites, actually? Where are the highs? Do I even need to collect sparkles? Let me check. Which quest was that? Oh shit. Fuck did I even hit him? I actually don't think I need to grab sparkles anymore. I think that was for the spirit bear quest. Oh, something. Jump him! $200. Oh wait, what was I doing? Yeah, I was grabbing. Oh shoot, Windy Bee. Yeah, don't jump him just yet. Don't jump him just yet. Don't jump him just yet. Alright, screw the fireflies. Cause I need the Windy Bee to blow me for this quest. He's not going to yet. Go ahead, blow me. See if I care. Dude, thank you. Duh! You didn't even do it!
You know, like this.
Was that your dad? Was that your dad or was that you?
That was me.
Oh, you sound so manly when you're 500 feet away from your microphone.
Yeah, no.
I know, alright. Put the glaze down a little, bro. Just put the glaze in the bag. Yo, stop jumping him on my soul. Thank you. No, why would you? Oh. Hit me again, yes. Thank you. Go ahead. Do it again. Hit me again. Alright, okay. No, 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 no. Nah. Stop jumping him.
They jump at me.
They jump at me. They jump at me. Oh, wait, he gives cloud vials too? Okay, yeah, you definitely need to come here. Come to Papa. How many more times I need to get blown? I need to get blown like 10 more times. 9 more times. Don't get too close. Just don't get too close unless you want your ass beat. Alright, here we go. Blow me. Go ahead, blow me. Yo, that was like cross map. Man, I knew he was gonna do it, but like... Yep, there we go. Stop jumping him! Stop, this isn't us. Yep, come back. Oh. There we go. Oh, crap, you got me. Give me one more time before you die. Before you jumped. Nice. Alright, 5 more times. Oh my goodness. This is painful. Where'd he go? No, stop coming near me! Ah! Sipping on promethazine, when I fell in love. I fell in love, when I fell in love. Yep, you see me? Yep. Oh, I didn't even jump. I just got blown upwards. Do it again. No! No, 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 no. Wait, he's gonna do it again. Nice. 3 more times. Come on, buff one out, buff one out. The next time I come across you, I'm about to kill you. Like every single time. Alright. I didn't understand his attack pattern at first, but now I do, so I'm good. Sipping on promethazine, when I fell in love. I fell in love, when I fell in love. I can't put down the mango. I can't put down the mango. I can't put down the mango. Hey, where do I get the last drive? Where do I get glitch drive? Jump his ass immediately. It's crazy, you can't even be within the same line.
I'm getting Chinese.
Chinese. That,
Yeah,
yeah, that's problem number 1.
problem number 1. My bad. Indonesian food. My bad. Oh.
What Chinese are you getting, Panda Express?
No, I'm not, bro. We do be loading you up though. I hate.
Hey, bro, Panda Express is good. Don't even. I can't even
Well,
trip.
yeah, it's good, but there's better Chinese food.
There's definitely. It's yeah. I was to say Panda Express is like the American version of Chinese.
I was gonna say there's better food. It's more ghetto, and
It's
it's cheaper.
It's cheaper.
It's more.
You get more portions.
Yeah, I don't give a. Give me syphilis. I don't give a.
I give a shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't think he gives a frick.
I don't give two francs.
I don't give 2 fracks, man. Alright, that No,
Hey,
spirit
don't,
bear.
don't, don't crash out, bro.
I'm crashing out on God.
No.
Bro, Indonesian food's actually good though. They're just
I've
not.
actually never had it. Man.
Yeah,
My
cause
mom,
it's not like popular in America.
my mom went to in Indonesia.
Really, which part does she go?
There's like 8,000 islands.
Jakarta.
There's like 8,000 islands.
Yeah, I know
I don't
it's
know. She went to
bad in
one
the
of them.
Philippines. One of
She also
Bali.
went to the Philippines.
Was it
Oh,
like
she went to
a nice part of Indonesia, or was it like
it was a more urban place because she was
oh
on a business trip.
yeah, I probably never heard of it. Yeah, I've only been to Jakarta, and I only know about Bali because it's like that's like a nice place.
Yeah. And she also went to the Philippines.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I can't name a place in the Philippines. Sorry.
I couldn't either.
Sorry, I failed my Asian ancestors by not memorizing
She also went to
Asians.
India and she hated India apparently.
Everyone hates India.
I hate India.
Indians hate India. They are always leaving.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I mean, I would too. Like, don't get me
you
wrong.
said it smelled funny. I'm not even joking. She said it smelled funny.
Yeah, that's literally known for. India's literally India has to be like the stinkiest country. Like,
Well, yeah, someone said it was the cleanest country in my class, bro.
yeah, okay. Like, are like maybe like one city, like their main tourist city, maybe that's clean. But if you look at any video in India at any given time, it looks like it's like an actual shithole.
Yeah. She said there was like donkeys like in the road, bro.
Yeah, I know. They just be doing whatever the fuck. They just be doing whatever the fuck. It's really a third world country over there. It's kind of
The
crazy.
donkeys are probably cleaner than the people.
Those are probably. Where does he shower? Shower? Oh no.
They left that in 1940.
They never introduced us, bro. They never got the update. Alright, I'm gonna take a shit real quick. I'll be right back. I have played these games before. Freeze! You are my duo, my only duo. You give me minis when I am low. Where's Vicious B? Wait, did I already defeat him enough times? I need to defeat him one more time. Where is Vicious B? Vicious B. The fuck? Where's Vicious B? Very fool. Like, why are the sparks that so worthless? Such a worthless quest. I can't kiss me. You do, that's why. So- Holy crap, he's back. Holy crap. Ah! You're mudded, though. Basic. I know all that shit works. Holy crap, he's in G-Tag. Oh. Do not queue Gorilla Tag servers tonight. Holy shit. The king has entered. Another Twitch bot. I can't even hear it. I just see you pointing the middle finger at him. Holy shit. Reasonable reaction.
And there's a scroller to put it at max volume.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I can hear you.
It might come out of the headset, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh shit. Oh no, there's lava monkey! No, no, no! No, no, no! It's so hard to move.
Oh my god!
No, he's going for me! What the fuck did I do, bitch?
Hey, you're on him! You're on him!
He's not mudding.
What the fuck, man? I'm gonna get this green guy. Never mind. This game is so hard.
Yeah, you're not an experienced G-Tag vet yet.
Yeah, you gotta turn the mic on, like the standing mic.
Okay.
There's a button on the back of it.
Okay.
Hello? Oh my god, I'm doing this. Hello? No!
You say hello.
Yeah, I can hear you coming better now.
What?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you through the
I'd
headset.
be fine. I'd be fine. No. I don't really think you can get banned in this game. I think everyone's racist. It's a game about monkeys, so.
There's a game about
It's a
monkeys.
game about
It's
monkeys,
crazy.
so I wouldn't be surprised. This parkour is so hard.
Bro, it sounds like you're actually doing exercise. Holy shit.
What? The monkeys?
Holy shit.
God damn. He's a grown ass man. How did that guy do that? Oh my god, I'm about to get this bitch. Watch this. Damn it. It's so hard.
Hey, you! Hey,
Oh,
you!
I did it. Where is he?
Hey, you!
See him.
Hey you! Hey you!
Hey, you.
Come here.
I just hit my face.
Can you
Aw.
send-
Santa's not real.
This game is.
Yeah, you can't be saying none of that, bro.
Yeah.
Bro?
Oh yeah.
this kid's
Those are
crying.
actual
Look! Look!
Kind of crazy. He's just a chill guy, so I can. What the fuck?
Wait, how many of you are new? Are you new?
No, there are. Look at that guy,
Yeah.
bro.
Look,
That's the guy who tagged me earlier.
I'm gonna burn your dick. I'm gonna burn
Oh,
your
I like
dick.
Yo, you're weird, bro. You're weird. You're weird.
No.
How many girls have you talked to this year, bro?
How many girls have you talked to this year?
One and a half.
How the fuck do you do branch parkour? Like, you gotta be a virgin.
Guys, who wants their dick to burn?
Oh my god, I did it. Oh my god, wait.
Me.
Who wants their dick to burn, bro?
Oh shit.
This kid doesn't even know what he's talking about. Wait,
Dude,
you're
this is actually scary.
you're
Like,
a
it feels
G-tag
you're
vet
on the
now.
branch.
you're a
I'm
G-tag
gonna try
vet
and get to
now.
that one. Oh!
Jump through his
Dude,
fucking.
this is so fun.
You almost jumped through the barrier.
Hey, I'm learning. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
You gonna get me?
Nobody.
No!
You're so bad at
I'm not going for that guy, bro. I'm getting out of the lobby.
so bad at the game. You're so bad at the game. You're so bad at the game.
Are you getting trash talked by a
It's
10
just
year
that guy, bro.
Look,
I'm gonna report him. He's too good.
guys, look.
Reported. Yeah, enjoy your band, bro.
Reported. Yeah, he's the only guy I see. We're all orange. He's blue.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, there's so many. There's so many monkeys. Or gorillas, yeah.
Bro's reporting everyone for being. For
Come here, let me touch you.
Like everyone. Yes, get it.
Wait, come here, come here, come here.
Get it. Get
There
it.
you go.
Get it. Yeah, get it.
There you go.
I can burn your dick. I can burn
Wait, how
your
old are you?
dick right
How old
now.
are you?
I can burn your
How
dick.
old are you?
Oh my god.
How old are you?
Not old enough to be on the game, obviously.
How old are you? Yo, how old are you, bro?
I'm actually not a boy. I'm actually.
How old are you?
Yo.
I'm a girl.
Yo.
You don't sound like a girl. I'm coming for your boobs.
Yo.
Oh, what?
It's running away. I can go there too, bitch. Where the fuck you going, bro? I love little girls.
Come here. Chase me again. Chase me again.
Oh shit, no, no, I'm pink. I just realized.
Chase me again.
Oh, I'm good, I'm good. No, 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 not yet, not yet. No, I'm not. No, no. Fuck.
Bro's running away from
I
the
don't know where to go. I don't
freshman.
know like where anything is. I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna go up here. Fuck you, fucker.
Goddamn. I'm a little angry.
I'm literally getting targeted, bro.
Aggie in 2024.
Alright, let's watch what's in here.
Let him touch. No, come here. No, come here. Don't make me. Yeah. Come here. No, come here. Let's join the code.
Oh wait, we're good.
Please tag me. Please, God bless.
I'm touching your boobies.
Let's join the code.
Alright, well, you're gay. Thank you.
Honk, honk, honk.
You want to join the code?
Don't wanna what?
For real, tag
Yo,
him.
unconnect this guy's ankle.
Dude,
Hey,
run the code! Bro, like, stop my controller.
Don't wanna what? I'm just gaslighting this kid.
What are you
Just come here.
No, I'm good.
Come here. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'll
What's
show you.
such a bad
But
idea?
he's fucking fast as shit. Come here, bitch. Come here, bitch.
Fucker. Sucker.
I'm just gonna wait for him to fall.
You fucking bitch.
This kid
I
just
know,
learned that.
bro.
He just figured out how to swear, bro.
Come on, tag me.
Oh no, you're gonna go apes on everyone, bro. Holy fuck.
Yo, I'm not.
Get this kid. Get this kid. What the hell, bro?
Yo, this is the Omni movement.
You're getting put in the gorilla tag montage, bro.
Good teammate. Good teammate. Good teammate. Wait, come here. Teammate. Come here. Come back. Come back. What'd you just say?
Oh my god!
Say it with your chest out. Say it with your chest out.
You're like, hey, bro. Yo, come here. Good job.
Say it with your heart.
Good job.
Say it with your chest. Say it with your heart.
Okay.
I know.
You're on fly?
Say nothing, nigga.
Bro, this kid.
Yo.
Nigga.
You know what? You might not get banned. You might not get banned.
Oh my god. You nigga.
I didn't say nothing, nigga.
This kid, bro.
I didn't.
Yo.
Is it just
Someone banned this kid.
Hello?
Hello?
I didn't say nothing, nigga.
Not ban
This
him.
kid, bro.
Ban him.
Oh my
Ban
god.
him.
Report him.
Hey, look, stay there. Look down. Hey, no. Look. Come here. Stay. Hey. Oh, I can't move.
Just make sure I don't go
No.
anywhere.
Hey.
You should like
Let's go.
dive into your computer screen.
To you. Pink. Look. Down. Look down. Look down.
Oh! Can I grab it?
My controller.
Oh no. That guy's running.
Hey, oh my controller shot like 12 times.
Ain't it? Big boy.
You didn't. Double kill. Are you? Oh my god, he's so good, bro. Oh my gosh, he's so good, bro. Oh my god. He's actually so Yeah, bro, pink.
You were not on this.
Yeah.
Humans, guys. Like, oh my god.
Pink.
Hey guys,
Can you come and clap me? Can you come and clap me?
No, can you come and clap me?
Can someone clap me? Can someone clap me? What?
Dude,
Yo.
somebody's talking like Goofy. He said the N-word. Did you hear him? Oh, I finally made it. I made it up. Dude, Declan, listen to this guy.
This was my pet cat. This was my pet cat.
Dick riding my horse. Dick riding my.
Declan, get the headset on.
Oh, this is so laggy. What the?
Holy hard R.
Yeah, it's laggy.
At least they're proud to say it.
He just found out he could say
Listen to
the
these
word.
guys.
They won't notice me, I swear. So I'm safe.
Yeah, black friends, and
Is that you coming up? I got nothing.
behind you, bro.
These branches is not it.
Oh yeah, okay. Then I'm gonna put my wiener inside you.
What?
what?
Hey!
Come down here.
Hey, buddy. Behind you.
No. It's no
Yeah.
remorse.
Scared to be swung.
They just say it freely.
Say what? At least he's saying with his heart, you know.
You know, at least you're saying it.
Hell.
What is going on, bro? What the hell is going on?
Hey, whoa. No cursing.
Hell?
Yeah, someone tell this kid to stop saying hell real quick.
Yo,
I don't think that's allowed.
turn around. Hey, turn around. I give you a fist bump.
Nigga's trying to be pack on. Evan, you hear this kid, bro?
I hear everything, bro.
Pack on, humble him. Pack on, do your thing.
I'm on crack right now. That's why I'm confused.
I'm on crack right now, so.
Declan,
Yeah, bro, it's not on crack.
you can throw snowballs. Did you know that?
Oh, little monkey. You monkadoodle. Little monkadoodle.
Oh, you stop being toxic.
Thank you. Thank you, Dookie.
I thought you were the
Dookie,
one.
Dookie.
You found another one. I won't let you forget me. You
Oh, sorry. Am I good here?
Oh, what the? He cut me off.
Everyone start acting autistic right now.
This party hat kind of annoying.
I won't let you forget me. I still see your shadows in my room. Can't take back.
Somebody singing Juice World. Yeah. Whatever the Lucid Dreams, I think. Hey kids, you know Juice World?
You were made out of plastic.
Can you guys hear this?
Yeah.
I wish I didn't. Well, actually,
Can't hear it.
actually, it's funny
Can
as
they hear
fuck.
me?
Wait, can
Yeah.
you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it.
I'm gonna get out of this lobby, dude.
Wait, you guys said you can hear them, or
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
can you hear me? Can you hear me,
Hello.
or can you hear?
I hear both of you guys. Like the screen share has your mic, has the mic audio from the headset. I mean, from the VR. Whatever.
I'm Gorilla 7498, I guess. What? Why? Well, no, I want to do a different. Is this the only thing in Gorilla Tag? Like, this is all you can do?
Isn't that the one with the guns?
I can't remember. I think that was a living type.
Yeah, I'm gonna stab you.
I'm gonna stab you. I'm gonna stab you.
Sit on the chair.
Get on the chair. Now.
Sit on the chair.
Shut the fuck up.
Ooh.
Sit on the bench. Everybody
Ooh, he could.
No.
Get on the bench. Sit on the bench. Go
Get on the bed.
on the bench. Come on. You two, get on the bench. You
Come
two get
suck
on the
my
bench.
dick.
On the bench. On the bench.
Amateur body.
Get on the bench. I did that.
Let's go.
What the fuck? Yo. What are you doing, bro?
Oh, I'm about to bust.
We get the last guy for y'all. No, no, we're not getting
I'm on the bench. Are you happy?
We're not getting that stupid nigga. Y'all are trash.
Why'd you over there?
Y'all are stupid. Hey, who just said that? Shut the hell. Who just said that?
Somebody said the N-word.
Hell yeah.
It was him. It was him.
Dude, it was not me.
I'm not a
Dude,
I'm not an N-word. I'm not an N-word. It's crazy.
not racist, alright?
I'm not an N-word.
Man.
It's not me.
Not an N-word. You hear
I
me?
would
Look at my
never
bank
say something
account,
like
you
that.
did. Look at the cash amount.
It's definitely that dude way up there in the tree.
I did the cash amount. Look at my bank account, you did.
I gotta wait to the closet.
Stacy's mom has got it going on.
Damn, I did the cash out.
The main fighter. The four guys. Five guys. Minus one.
Yeah, yeah.
Stacy.
Look at my. Yeah. Look at my bank account, you did.
Let's go tag him.
I'm gonna leave, but y'all are just doing nothing. Y'all are doing nothing, bro. I'm honestly gonna leave. Jesus Christ.
Facts, bro.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Do you hear him?
Oh, jeepers.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they just stupid casual, bro. I'm actually gonna dip.
No. I'm leaving. Everybody leaving.
Dude, I want to play VR chat.
You're good.
Everybody leaving.
Yes.
What are
No,
y'all
no.
doing?
No one has ever
Mad?
like,
Mad?
No, you don't.
What do you mean?
Probably see.
no one's ever
Yes.
muttered those words. I want to play
Ooh.
VR tag.
Ooh.
Chat,
Sorry.
whatever.
I was going off.
GG.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Bro, yo.
I kind of want to play.
Yo, this kid.
He
Yeah.
just said,
Yo, this kid.
holy. You heard it, right?
Yes. Yes, I heard it. Yeah, nah, he's just like me for real.
Yeah.
I don't think he's,
I got
he's old enough to know
No, wait.
what any of those words
Yeah.
he just said.
You're on the right side of the table, though. Yeah. Headset power, 34%. I've played Super Hot before. Yeah, with you. We had it on the Xbox.
Hey, you're kind of bad.
Man. Hold on. I just want to see if like the physics are good too. Hey. Yeah, watch. Look at the computer screen. Is it matched up, Declan? Dude, the AI always gets it. Yeah. Alright, which one? VR chat? I found it, VR chat. Oh. Alright. Is there any way to like tighten this thing? That's good. That's better.
Let's make it delectably sweet and savory masala.
Carolina.
I have no idea. I don't know how to shoot. Dude, let me try it. Let me figure it out.
Minutes remaining.
What the hell? Is that the guy? How do I run? How do I teabag? Ah, dude, this is fun. Oh, bro, I told you. Wait, which one do I? Oh, okay. Why is that guy on the floor like that? What the hell? No, I don't want that. Oh shit, you got a racket too.
We'll take her fame.
I gotta run. Shit, bro, I don't know. I'm looking.
A perfect balance.
I bet.
I'm going. No, this fucking bitch.
Yo,
Yo, where am I getting shot from? I want different guns.
One game product, 4 game product.
no. Stop.
Oh my gosh.
Where'd the phone go? Go behind him and just go home. Oh shit. Oh my.
UP, it's coming.
Holy shit. Oh shit, I got him.
1 minute
They're
remaining.
coming from the side.
I shot him. What? There we go.
What a perfect. I mean, there's massive.
How did I not kill him?
30 seconds remaining.
Oh my goodness, 5 hours of this.
Lamar Cruz.
Yep, this right here, this is what a Class A CDL gets you. Then why would you say that?
Because I wanted to meet you because you're a f***ing meme.
I know y'all gonna call me weird and but I don't care. That was amazing.
That's kind of weird, Mar. Lamar Cruz.
Doing anything horrible in my zoo life, and I really don't think I am, in an objective sense, then why am I so ashamed of it? Why did I hate that side of myself so much? It's been a long, slow, challenging process to unpeel these layers of denial and lies and dishonesty and instinctive hiding. A big part of it is involved forcing myself to answer questions honestly in public so I don't backslide into old, unhealthy habits of thought. This revelation, while supposedly emotionally beneficial for Doug, was the catalyst of a few misfortunes as well. His trial judge title with the American Kennel Club was revoked, and he was forced to shut down his dog breeding operation. This was also the final straw for his wife and sparked the beginning of their separation. They remained married until 2003, with one staying at their mansion in Gaston and the other staying in their smaller farmhouse located 25 miles away in North Plains. During this period of separation, Doug found himself in a legal battle with former associates from one of his businesses, alleging they had converted property and assets without permission, stole corporate opportunities, and breached the terms of their employment contracts. This did not pan out well for Doug, as he was ultimately found liable and forced to pay out $5.7 million to one of the defendants, a New Jersey businessman named Kit Kung. Just like that, all that Doug had worked for was gone, and he was forced to file for bankruptcy in 2002. No longer capable of affording his home loan payments, a close friend and business associate, Paul Peterson, purchased the mortgage and allowed Doug to continue living there, under the condition that he paid rent. Despite this agreement, he made no effort to contribute financially, which led the house to be foreclosed on after Peterson ceased making payments. Despite the kindness shown by Paul, Doug resented him and blamed him for becoming homeless. When the house was eventually purchased by new owners, Spink vandalized the property in a fit of rage, breaking windows, punching holes in the walls, and even smearing the home's exterior with dog feces. Facing his pending bankruptcy case, Doug made the decision to flee to Canada, in the hopes of starting a new life and dodging the repercussions. Before leaving for good, he confronted his wife Judy and requested ownership of his favorite golden retriever, Ryan. His wife initially refused, but after he threatened to gut her like a fish and hang her from a tree, she ultimately decided to give Ryan back to him. With his 5 horses and 5 dogs, Doug traveled north until he reached Pitt Meadows, British Columbia. It was there that he met a woman by the name of Corinne Super. Corinne, along with her husband Mark, were horse trainers, and strangely allowed him to stay in their barn with the animals. During this period, Doug spent a lot of his time on the computer, frequenting numerous forums related to horses, drugs, Buddhism, and base jumping. Under the monikers D-Dog, Exit Point, and Fausty, Doug made no effort to hide his proclivities, consistently making references to his 4-legged companions and the sexual nature of his relationships with them. This open acknowledgement of animal abuse on a wide range of forums would make the name Fausty in particular an infamous one. Although almost no archives from this time remain online, as many of the forums he frequented are now defunct. He also created an FAQ on his own personal website, filled with delusional rationalizations of his sick and twisted behavior. Aren't you ashamed of who you are? No, I'm not. I'm just a simple Buddhist, so I don't get to argue that my super being can kick your super being's ass. Instead, my spiritual choice is simple. I try to do what I can to help the world to be a better place, to minimize suffering, and to manifest genuine love. Though I've tried and tried, nowhere in there can I figure out where my zoo-ish relations with my boys break the rules. They're happy, I'm happy, we love each other. End of story. Isn't it abuse? It's simply logically impossible to declare interspecies intimacy to be abuse, while simultaneously admitting that sex within species is not abuse, and that the many other actions we take on behalf of, or with, our non-human companions are not abuse as well. As a friend once commented with a certain flair for poetic imagery, how can it be abuse to lick a dog's balls, but not be abuse to cut them off? Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Do you wish you were normal? Nope. Doug also spent a lot of time on a bestiality forum aptly named Beast Forum, where he allegedly posted videos of himself with his animals. This behavior likely resulted in the police investigating Doug on allegations of animal cruelty. They confiscated his computer, where they found numerous images and videos of him abusing his animals. Though, if this investigation truly did happen, it seems Doug was never charged for anything. While she didn't expect anything at first, it wasn't long until Corinne took note of Doug's strange behavior and unorthodox philosophies about humans and animals. He refers to people as two-leggers. He says that there is a 4-legged world and there is a 2-legged world, and he only has use for the 4-legged world. The 2-leggers are nothing but an inconvenience. The mainstream, the rules, and our society and our culture is based around the 2-leggers, and that is not where he belongs, so those rules don't apply to him. He wanted to be with the dogs and the horses. He would always have a very private boundary. He calls it the boundaries. If the barn doors are shut, you do not enter under any circumstance. He would say, do not enter, period. If the barn doors are open, you are somewhat welcome, but you have to announce yourself. Doug claims to have fostered a romantic relationship with the woman, as they supposedly got engaged sometime in early 2005. Though Corinne adamantly denies this, as she was already married and was well aware of Doug's homosexuality. Doug always made it very, very clear to me that he was gay. I certainly have it in letters. I have it written that he wanted to be very clear that he wasn't misleading me, that there would be no chance of any kind of a romantic thing with him, that he enjoyed my friendship very much. I think he called me a beacon of light in a very tough time for him, and he welcomed my friendship and my enthusiasm with the horses, and he enjoyed my company, but that he was truly dedicated to his family, and that he was gay. He knew he had been gay for a long time. That was the difficult part he had with his ex-wife. He went into long, lengthy discussions about it. I don't know what his concern was to make me crystal clear to understand that. I'm not truly quite sure why he would think that was an issue. But a supposed email sent by Corinne to Doug in 2005 seems to contradict this, where she says, I've always tried hard to understand your emotional plumbing. If it seems like I've been trying to replumb you with my advances, I did not mean it. I am a sexual creature that likes to be touched and touch. It is part of the attraction. I'm sorry that it makes you so uncomfortable. I think it is healthy. It leaves you feeling weak and vulnerable, open to attack. This is my first try at loving a different creature. Perhaps if I had your experience, I would not have failed. I have never lied to you nor said anything about who or what you are, except that I'm attracted to it and want to learn more. Corinne also denies that she was aware of Doug being a zoophile. However, a letter written in October of 2005 seems to indicate the opposite. In the barn, when you told me you hoped one day I would understand, I finally get it. I truly do. I understand. It still hurts, but it feels good to understand it. Understanding you has been a challenge and a growth that I thank you for. Painful and exhausting, but full of love. It is strangely painful and comforting to learn that it is me as a species and a female, but it is not me as a person. Serious self-doubt and reflecting. That being said, as mentioned previously, both Doug and Corinne Maloney are potentially unreliable narrators. As if the prospect of lying about a romantic relationship wasn't strange enough, Doug even alleged that Corinne was a career criminal who recruited him to smuggle drugs over the Canadian border. Her background, of course, is in the drug business. Corinne Super has made her living from the drug business since she was a teenager. How would I know this? Well, She recruited me into that business when I met her in Canada in late 2003. I ended up proposing marriage to her, and we were engaged for several years. Bad idea. And for the record, though she recruited me into the business, it was my choice to do so. I take full responsibility for that. There's no evidence of Corinne being charged in any crimes relating to drugs, and she vehemently denies this claim. While the notion that Corinne was involved in illegal drug running operations is unconfirmed, Doug, on the other hand, certainly was. In January of 2005, he was located on a well-known drug smuggling route by U.S. border agents in Loomis National Forest. One of the agents at the scene claimed that Doug appeared extremely nervous, but ultimately he allowed him to go. They began tracking his activity for the next month, noting that he crossed the border from Canada 5 separate times in the month of February. That was until the 28th, when he was apprehended by federal agents with an estimated $34 million worth of cocaine at the Canadian border. The feds discovered 4 large suitcases and 1 small suitcase with over 372 pounds of coke in the back of his vehicle. Because of this, Spink was facing imprisonment of up to 10 years. However, he was able to shorten his sentence to 3 years in prison with 5 years of probation after aiding in the arrest of his boss, Robert Kessling. Doug eventually found himself in FCI Sheridan, a medium security prison located in Oregon. In prison, he spent most of his time reading books and working as a horticulture instructor at the prison's education department. He also found time to repair the broken relationships with his parents, specifically his mother Claire, who grew distant with him during his marriage to Judy. While things were going well for Doug in prison, his sentencing left his animals without a caretaker. To solve this, he would strike a deal with Corinne Super. Under the condition that she looked after his dogs and horses, Doug leased his stallions to her and allowed her to collect all the prize money earned until his release. During his time, his horse Capone would flourish in professional competition, winning 10 Grand Prix titles in his career. In 2007, he was even ranked as one of the top 200 show jumpers on the planet, earning him an estimated value of several $1 million. Despite this previous agreement, Super wanted more. Well aware of his carnal desires for Capone, she petitioned to acquire ownership of the champion show horse, a right she would easily be granted. Doug was released early from prison for good behavior on May 25, 2007, serving only 21 of his 36-month sentence. He rented a small barn with an apartment in Custer, Washington, near the Canadian border. While he was able to collect his dogs, Super refused to give Capone back, sparking a custody battle over the champion show horse. While Super claimed she wanted Capone out of love, Doug believed she solely wanted to profit from him. Capone's value came in particular from his exceptional genetics, which made him a viable option in producing future offspring for anyone willing to pay. Doug suspected Corinne was attempting to stockpile Capone's loads, which ran a market price of $2,500 per emission. During a heated argument over the phone, Doug stepped outside to scream at Super, leaving a package of sugar cookies on the table. Distracted by the argument, he failed to notice his dogs began to fight over the cookies, which resulted in his dog Ryan being critically injured. Unfortunately, the dog would pass away from his injuries, which devastated Doug. Eventually, the two would meet in a parking lot where they would reach an agreement, with Capone being returned to Doug. At this point, things were looking up for him. His time in prison soured the prospect of returning to drug running, and he set his sights on becoming a veterinarian. He would be accepted into Washington State University, only to have the offer rescinded once the establishment learned of his past of fraud and incarceration. Doug also believed they may have discovered his public outing as a zoophile and decided to cut ties. As a result, he attempted to sue the school for discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. However, the legal team he attempted to hire rejected the case for obvious reasons. With his dreams of becoming a veterinarian destroyed, Doug decided to dip his toes back into doing business online,
No way,
founding
died.
Benecki Privacy Computing Incorporated and starting his own virtual private network service. While Doug was taking steps to get his life back together, Corinne Super was devising a plot to pull the rug out from under him. She was determined to get Capone back by all means necessary. After failed attempts to get the police involved, she was forced to take matters into her own hands. In May of 2008, Doug spent a weekend away from his home to go hiking with his new boyfriend. When he returned, the front gate was open, the barn door was ajar, and Capone was gone. He quickly contacted the police, informing them of the suspected horse napping, sparking an investigation into the matter. Corinne openly confessed to taking Capone, alleging that Doug wasn't properly taking care of him, was sexually abusing him, which is true, and affirmed that she is the rightful owner. This difference of perspective fueled a heated legal dispute between Spink and Super, with little progress made over time. The police were unable to assist, with the deputy assigned to the case writing the following. The investigation of this incident has been very convoluted and difficult. As of this time, it is not known who is the owner of Capone. Douglas has provided numerous documents on the behalf of Exit Point Stallions Limite to try to prove ownership. None of the documents were sufficient evidence to establish ownership of Capone. Corinne also submitted numerous documents to try to prove ownership, and none of those documents were sufficient evidence to establish ownership of Capone. I have suspected both Douglas and Corinne have not been totally honest regarding the information they have provided. I also suspected Douglas and Corinne have each put their own spin on the information provided in an effort to prove ownership of Capone. It is not known if the dispute over Capone is from a failed business or romantic relationship between Douglas and Corinne. Eventually, Doug lost his patience and devised a plan to get Capone back. Unable to enter Canada due to his probation requirements, he enlisted the help of his landlord, Sharon Monroe, to assist him in retrieving his champion show horse. Monroe traveled to Corinne's farm under the pretense of seeking advice in dealing with Doug. After Monroe left, Corinne set off to pick up her daughter from school, and while she was away, Doug's landlord returned to the farm and attempted to steal the horse. This attempt was ultimately unsuccessful, with Corinne's workers informing her of this and putting a stop to it. But she wasn't done yet. A month later, while transporting Capone in the trailer, she noticed Monroe following behind with an empty trailer of her own. For nearly 2 hours, Monroe chased Corinne down the highway with the intent to steal Capone back and return him to Doug. This chase came to a halt as Corinne pulled into the parking lot of the local police department. The police's attempts to mediate were ultimately for naught, as Monroe followed the woman home once again and attempted to steal Capone. The cops arrived at the scene and removed her from the property. Monroe then remained on the side of the road for a total of 3 hours before finally leaving, and this would be the last time Corinne Super saw Sharon Monroe. Out of options, Doug realized the only person who could retrieve Capone was himself. As Thanksgiving approached, he figured Corinne may not be around to keep an eye on the farm during the holidays, and he was right, as she would spend Thanksgiving weekend out of town. Doug, in the dead of night, snuck into Super's barn and stole Capone back. The first to inform Corinne that her champion show horse was stolen was Doug himself, sending her a 2-word text message: "Checkmate, cunt." With a small loan of $80,000 from his mother, Doug relocated to a small cabin in Sumas, Washington, where he thought that Corinne Super and law enforcement couldn't find him. On July 2nd, 2005, Kenneth D. Pinion, James Michael Tate, and a third unknown person snuck into a local barn. With the intent of abusing one of the horses, they rubbed female pheromones on their bodies to coerce the animals to sodomize them. Tate took turns first before allowing Kenneth to go second. During this, the stallion would accidentally rupture his colon, leading to his untimely death. All of this was filmed and eventually uploaded to the internet, originally intended to be gooning material, but instead it became one of the most infamous shock videos on the internet, known as Mr. Hands. The third unidentified man dumped Kenneth's body outside of a local hospital, where he was quickly pronounced dead. Authorities began to investigate, leading them to a farm in Enumclaw, Washington. This particular farm was supposedly infamous in zoophile chat rooms as a hotspot for depraved animal abusers to find victims. On the scene, hundreds of VHS tapes and DVDs were found, containing men abusing a wide plethora of animals. Law enforcement were eventually able to trace back the video to James Tate, who was promptly arrested. Unfortunately, since there were no laws against bestiality in Washington at the time, he was simply charged with trespassing and given a 1-year suspended sentence. On the bright side, however, the infamy of this case inspired Washington state legislators to craft and pass a bill outlawing sex with animals. A short time later, James Tate would move to Maury County, Tennessee. He would take residence at a local farm where he would continue to exploit animals. Local authorities were eventually notified of this, and once again, Tate was arrested. This is where Douglas Spink re-enters the picture. Familiar with the infamous Enumclaw case and aware of his recent arrest, Doug wrote a letter to Tate while in jail offering his help. He obviously sympathized with Tate, believing he was incarcerated on the basis of his sexuality. Doug even went as far as writing a letter to the Maury County Assistant Public Defender. Mr. Tate has also informed me that he, personally, has no documentation from you or anyone else relating to this case, the charges under which he is being held, or anything else. Apparently, in the sole meeting you've ever had with him, several weeks ago, you flashed a copy of several warrants at him, but refused to give him copies of the same. He sits in jail with no reliable explanation for why he is being punished. Either behave as a professional and an officer of this court, or expect to face any and all sanctions appropriate for such failures, both with the judge, if there even is a judge in this current case, and with your state bar association. I don't have time to play games with you. Mr. Tate rots in jail while you dither, and his possessions and non-human companions are scattered to the winds. If you think I speak lightly in promising to ensure you're held accountable for your failures as an officer of the court, I suggest you find a few minutes in your busy schedule to validate that assumption on your part. This bizarre and unwavering advocacy for these strange people compelled law enforcement to begin investigating Doug Spink himself. Calls made to Tate's prison were obviously recorded and revealed Doug openly admitting to his interests. Authorities also found pages of evidence from his numerous forum posts advocating for and acknowledging his abuse of animals. With a mountain of evidence against him, in the early morning of April 14, 2010, law enforcement approached Doug's recently purchased cabin in Sumas and arrested him for violating his parole. On the scene of his small cabin were dozens of dogs, horses, and mice, the latter of which supposedly had their tails cut off, strings tied to them, and petroleum jelly coating their bodies. All of these animals were confiscated and relocated by the Watcombe Humane Society, with Capone being returned to Corinne Super. Along with Doug, a British tourist named Stephen Clark was also arrested. Video evidence was uncovered of Clark sexually abusing 3 of Doug's dogs. Clark also had a prior history of legal troubles, including charges of theft and unlawful interactions with both animals and children. To get into the US, Clark lied about his past criminal convictions and omitted the E from the end of his surname when applying for his visa. For this, he spent 30 days in county jail before he was deported back to the UK. This lead prosecutor for this case spoke about this decision, saying, "I just wanted to get rid of him. I didn't want to clog up our jails with this guy. This is a problem born of another country." This was not an isolated incident. Doug frequently pimped out his animals to be used by other depraved individuals he met online. His small cabin in Sumas had become a hotspot for zoophiles to visit. However, Doug denies the allegations of his supposed bestiality farm. Once again in police custody, Doug faced a lengthy legal battle. Prosecutors believed his probation was violated a total of 4 times for committing to the crime of animal cruelty, failing to submit truthful monthly reports, leaving the jurisdiction without permission, and associating with persons engaged in criminal activities. Doug disputed 3 of the violations, however conceded that he did travel out of state. He traveled to New York City to do a presentation on corporate jurisprudence at the Last Hope conference. His presentation was posted online, where he openly admits to his quote-unquote relationship with Capone.
I have kind of an unusual lifestyle in that my primary physical, emotional, and social bonds are with horses and dogs. So my family is really mostly composed of dogs and horses. My life partner, who I've been with for 10 years, is a famous athlete and very successful, has his own fan club, and pays a lot of the bills around the farm actually with his work. He's also got 4 hooves and a tail. He's a show jumping stallion named Capone 1. I always joke about that and say it's actually cool because I can always say that my boyfriend really is hung like a horse. People usually blush, like, you can't say that. I did, I said it. I'm not really sorry about it. So I have kind of a different life that I live in a barn, actually, and with the guys and have for a long time.
Unfortunately for Doug, any disagreements he might have had with the case didn't really matter, and he was ultimately sentenced to 3 years in prison with another 2 years of probation. This sentencing was strictly for his federal probation violations, and he still faced charges of animal cruelty that were pending in Whatcom County. The news of Doug Spink's arrest and his bestiality farm quickly made headlines in Whatcom County. Working as a volunteer animal rescue writer for the Watcombe Humane Society, Corinne Maloney was made aware of the animal saved from Doug Spink's cabin, and it was around this time that she began to investigate the situation, conducting interviews with Doug over the span of the next 8 years. This investigation resulted in the aforementioned book, Uniquely Dangerous. The most charitable way to describe Corinne Maloney is incompetent. A more harsh interpretation is that she is a dangerously apologetic enabler. Nothing in this book demonstrates this better than its opening statement. This book is dedicated to the animals who are killed by humans when their secret lives with zoos are discovered. Corinne Maloney doesn't seem to be concerned with the animals who are taken advantage of by zoophiles. Rather, she is concerned with animals that are supposedly euthanized after their abuse is discovered. This sentiment is a common lie spread by zoophiles to deter their detractors from speaking out. They claim that if you report someone sexually engaging with an animal, you are essentially killing that animal. In reality, animals will only be euthanized if there is irreconcilable mental or physical damage. This idea, ironically, is disproven by the case regarding the 2010 sting in Whatcom County. The mice discovered were euthanized under the belief that their lives would not be very good if they continued living, given the fact that their tails were cut off, strings were tied to their body, and they were, the stuff that they went through, the sort of canal they probably saw, I think, did enough damage that the rescuers determined it was probably over for them. Meanwhile, the 7 dogs and 4 stallions who were recovered at the scene were not euthanized. Rather, they were sent to various shelters or rehomed. On top of talking to Doug, Corinne uncritically interviewed and shared the stories of other zoophiles, where they were free to bellyache and exhaust their proclivities. In Chapter 14, Coming Out, Corinne interviewed a 68-year-old man named Bernard. She dedicated 2 pages in the book where the man was free to air his grievances with not being accepted in society. Bernard had started abusing a 2-year-old dog named Ashley at the age of 16. After Ashley passed, he began abusing her offspring, following their offspring as well, and the terrible, disgusting cycle continued. Corinne frames Bernard as a man who suffers physical side effects from the stress of hiding a secret, yet remains proud of who he is, as if he is a downtrodden outcast, unfairly mistreated by society. Chapter 16, Lady Buble, tells the story of a zoophile named Philip Buble. Philip was much more open about his interest than most zoos, sharing it with his family and friends. His father in particular was disgusted by this, and when he walked in on his son French kissing the family dog, he snapped. Later that night, Philip's father attacked him with a crowbar, beating him within an inch of his life. This resulted in a broken arm, 63 stitches, and permanent neurological damage. But Bernard is a forgiving man who was upset by his father's prison sentence for attempted murder. Yet, he remained frightened, paranoid that the world was out to get him, up until his untimely death in 2010. In the 48th chapter, titled Donkey Love, Karine seemingly attempts to normalize the concept of human-animal relations, referencing a handful of villages on the northern coast of Colombia which encourage young men to have sex with donkeys. None of these stories have anything to do with Doug. They do nothing aside from attempt to humanize zoophiles. Scrutiny is exempt from all of these stories, and if anything, they do nothing but attempt to excuse the deplorable acts of mentally ill degenerates. As to why Karine felt so compelled to charitably shine a light on the life of zoophiles, it's not really certain. What is certain is that she dedicated 8 years to writing a book that Doug openly promotes as a reputable source of information. During these 8 years, Karine would frequently meet up with Doug, beginning their string of interactions while he was still in prison. While Doug viewed his first sentencing as a blessing in disguise, he had a much more unfavorable view of his second stint in prison, believing he was being persecuted based on his sexuality, and even described himself as a political prisoner. Doug spent most of his time in jail, the same way he did during his previous incarceration, reading hundreds of books and taking a job as an educational tutor for the inmates. During his second stint, he shared a cell with Mike Fenter, who was serving 10 years for a handful of armed robberies in California and Washington State. Fenter was notably disgruntled by government bailouts given to banks during the Great Recession of 2008, saying, "What I am for is real justice, real truth, and real accountability within our system of government. The money was used and is probably currently being used to get to the truth." Fenter also owned a farm called Compass Rose in Port Townsend, Washington, which his wife, Katine, was forced to run by herself after his arrest. When Doug was released from prison in April of 2013, he came to Katine hat in hand, asking for work and a place to stay. Katine, disconnected from the internet and likely unaware of Doug's past crimes, allowed him to take residence in a small trailer on the property. The probation department, which was responsible for approving Doug's housing and ensuring he was not near animals, mistakenly approved his stay in the trailer. That was until they found out he was living amongst a herd of sheep, where they then demanded he find new housing. Doug was offended by the implication, indignantly stating, "I am not a sheep fucker." Doug rented a brand new home just 11 miles away, but still opted to spend most of his time on the farm. Katine ran into issues with coyotes poaching her sheep, which Doug saw as a perfect opportunity to acquire a new victim. He convinced Katine to purchase a Caucasian shepherd named Baka, a rare breed known for its herding and guarding capabilities. Next door to Compass Rose was a dog breeding operation run by Andrew Johnston. Doug had known Johnston previously, as they had bred a litter of puppies together in 2007. He was promised one of the dogs under the pretense that he found owners for all of the remaining litter. Doug was unsuccessful in finding new owners and was not given one of the puppies, which he was furious over. This ultimately soiled their relationship and future business prospects. Doug took a liking to a 5-year-old dog named Genghis, a canine he believed was being abused by Johnston. This is entirely possible, as in 2009, Johnston was warned by police after receiving an animal cruelty complaint. Katine's mother, Beverly, also allegedly witnessed Johnston abusing one of his dogs. With this, Doug decided to steal Genghis from Johnston, cutting a hole in the fence that separated their properties and taking him in the middle of the night. When Johnston discovered this, he quickly called the police and placed blame in the hands of Spank. Law enforcement found Doug at his home, where they found Baka in his truck. Genghis, on the other hand, was nowhere to be found. To this day, it is unknown where Genghis went, as he was never seen again. In 2024, he would be over 20 years old, so it's certain that he since passed away. This would not be the end of Doug's legal troubles, however, as he still faced charges of animal cruelty from his sting operation in Whatcom County. That being said, Doug believed it was a case he was sure to beat. I would like to say that on the Whatcom County case, that case was filed right before the statute of limitations expired. As a result of the 2010 incident, my lawyer and I are fighting that vehemently. We're fighting the constitutionality of the state underlying that case, and in the strongest possible terms. And we're looking to overturn that statute on the basis of a flagrant violation of the findings of the Supreme Court in Lawrence v. Texas, as well as numerous due process violations of the statute itself. That's the status of the Whatcom County case. I'm proud to be fighting that case. I look forward to winning that case and to removing that statute from the books. For those unaware, Lawrence v. Texas was a case handled by the Supreme Court that ruled that the criminalization of sodomy between consenting adults was unconstitutional. Doug believed his sexuality was no different than being gay, and sought to use this landmark decision as his greatest weapon in advocating for his innocence. Obviously, this didn't work. Doug had his probation revoked and was forced to serve the remaining 9 months behind bars. Once his sentence was complete, he still faced animal cruelty charges in Whatcom County, stemming from the sting operation on his cabin in Sumas. Doug originally accepted a plea deal, admitting to 1 count of animal cruelty and agreeing to a lifetime ban on owning dogs in the state of Washington. However, the judge opted to throw out the plea deal and sentenced him to 90 days in prison, as well as banning him from owning dogs for life. Doug requested a few weeks to get his affairs in order before officially being sent to prison, which he was granted. During this time, he fled to Canada with his boyfriend. At that, I had a decision to make. Go back to that state, face further open-ended persecution without a real lawyer, and having already seen a stacked deck sentencing hearing take place that I knew was headed off the rails. I decided that, based on all I've seen and know, going back voluntarily represented a genuine risk to my safety, and I had no idea when or if I could return to Canada once that thing down there was finished. Would they frame me for something else? Add some new change out of nowhere? Try to involuntarily commit me under some specious psych diagnosis? I put none of that past them. I decided that I would simply step back from the jail sentence and let things play out. Doug made a new home for himself in Port Stanley, Ontario, where he spent the next 8 months in hiding. But like a moth to a flame, it was only a matter of time before he found himself in the hands of law enforcement again. On August 9th, 2015, police were informed of a disheveled man with a towel around his waist wandering into local businesses along Warncliffe Road in Lambeth. He initially gave them a fake name, but was eventually identified and arrested. Doug blamed this incident on his supposed PTSD, saying, "Yesterday I found myself in contact with local police officers without any of my ID or driver's license on hand. I was not in my best form, having that morning engaged some personal demons in an hours-long event. Let's just call it an event for now, in the local swamps and forest land. I was recovering from a deep dive into the cold waters of genuine terror, and I'm not in my home country, driving a vehicle with expired plates," and so on. All irresponsible and, in a word, dumb. Doug was released from prison the next day after the detention center holding him made an error. Authorities quickly rearrested him the following day, and he was eventually deported and sent back to America. He spent a few months living with his mother, Claire, in Pennsylvania, before sneaking back into Canada. Of course, Doug's habitual run-ins with the law didn't magically stop here. In November of 2015, emergency workers received word of a fire taking place at the home of Ronald Matuszek, a man who had been letting Doug stay with him during his most recent stints in Canada. Eyewitnesses reported seeing Doug with Matuszek in a headlock, threatening to stab him if they came any closer. He eventually let go of the man before running away, breaking into another person's home and exiting shortly after. Police intercepted Doug and arrested him, but he didn't go down without a fight. Once in the police cruiser, he smashed both of the backseat windows, bent the radar antenna, and smashed his head on the plexiglass barrier at least 10 times. For this behavior, he served 150 days in jail and was sent back to America again. After being dropped off in New York, he returned to his childhood home to live with his mother. Doug, whose mental state had regressed severely, asked to sleep in his mother's room. She refused, but allowed him to sleep on a pile of blankets outside of her door. On the night of April 4th, 2016, Doug was awoken by a metal plant holder falling on a glass sliding door. Thinking someone was breaking in, he rushed into his mother's room, grabbed her .38 caliber revolver, and put it to his own head. After calming him down, Claire took her son to the basement to talk. Doug then rushed back up the steps and fired 3 rounds. Believing her son was dead, Claire went to investigate, finding he was still alive with multiple bullet holes lodged in the walls and ceiling. Claire quickly left to call the police at her neighbor's home, and during this, Doug began walking down the street in a panicked state. A random driver noticed Doug on the side of the road and offered their help. He requested they bring him to the police station, which they initially obliged. However, as Doug became more erratic, they asked him to get out. He eventually found himself at a gas station, where one of the employees promptly called the police. When they arrived at the scene, Doug was curled up in the fetal position behind the store's counter. It took 5 officers and 3 sets of handcuffs to eventually subdue him, and he was then rushed to the hospital. There, he stayed for a week before being moved to Butler County Prison, where he faced a total of 17 criminal charges, 12 of which were felonies. Those charges included 1 count of possession of a prohibited firearm, 3 counts of discharging a firearm into an occupied structure, 5 counts of aggravated assault, 4 counts of recklessly endangering another person, 1 count of criminal mischief for breaking a screen door, and another 3 counts of criminal mischief for the $5,000 in damage caused to the gas station during the struggle. Unable to pay his bail of $35 grand, Doug remained in custody while awaiting prosecution. Unfortunately, Doug walked away with nothing more than a slap on the wrist, charged with misdemeanor criminal mischief, reckless endangerment, and resisting arrest. By February of 2017, Douglas Spink was a free man once again. It is truly remarkable that despite his habitual disregard for the law, he always manages to find himself out of prison. Doug was now more than ever a danger to both animals and humans. He was a ticking time bomb who brought chaos and terror wherever he went. With his behavior almost being reinforced by the legal system's negligence, it was only a matter of time before he once again had run-ins with law enforcement. Paranoid by his previous encounters with police, Doug no longer felt safe living in his apartment, opting to sleep in his car in various locations in Butler County. In November of 2017, he accidentally got his car stuck in an alley, where he decided to just take a nap. A police officer found him and attempted to take him to a hospital, as he had a mental health warrant and hadn't been meeting with a psychiatrist. Doug also had his service dog Cav with him. How he was able to gain access to another animal is beyond me, but we can basically chalk it up to pure negligence on the part of everybody involved. Doug refused to go to the police, eventually pulling a knife on his dog Cav, threatening to kill the dog if they arrested him. A 2-hour-long standoff ensued with officers attempting to coax him out of his car. Eventually, Doug did give up and exited the vehicle, yet still refused the officer's request to get down on both knees. In a fit of rage, he charged the officers, resulting in him being tased and shot with beanbag ammunition. Doug's heart stopped beating at the scene. However, paramedics successfully revived him in the ambulance. He woke up in the hospital 3 days later and was subsequently transferred to the medical unit in Butler County Prison. He was then charged with aggravated assault, resisting arrest, and disorderly conduct. Once again, like in so many chapters of Doug's life, he found himself in a prison cell. Doug spent the next 11 months incarcerated, being released sometime in October of 2018. It was around this time that he began treatment for his recently diagnosed stage 4 cancer. This diagnosis was terminal, and his death was imminent. He knew his time was running out. Instead of achieving liberation for zoophiles and their furry companions like he dreamt of, he wasted a majority of his life running from federal authorities or rotting in prison. Now he was confined to a bed, staying in his childhood home with his strongest enabler, his mother. During this time of waning mortality, he felt compelled to make one final push. Over the years, Doug attempted to organize a handful of social justice campaigns, obviously with the goal of normalizing and destigmatizing zoophilia. The Deep Justice Network was created by Doug sometime in late 2013, which sought to build a legal defense fund for zoos. Taking inspiration from civil rights movements of the past, this network pathetically attempts to draw comparisons to anti-black racism, sexism against women, and homophobia. The Deep Symbiosis Institute, also founded in 2013, was an attempt to intellectualize the topic of zoophilia as if it's a human condition worth understanding. In this, Doug seeks to redefine the meaning of zoophobe. Traditionally defined as the irrational fear of animals, he describes it as the bigotry which manifests itself as a violent, irrational, often inexplicable hatred of cross-species intimate relationships, and of the general concept of non-human sexuality and sexual identity. Then there's Can't Be Porn, which is potentially the most depraved of his efforts on the surface. This was a Twitter account that featured videos of animals engaging in intercourse. The intent was seemingly for him to try to point out that if animals can't consent to sex, then animals having sex with each other isn't sex at all. A mind-numbingly stupid argument that fails on all fronts. But the most notable of all these efforts is the Cross-Species Alliance. This organization is the epitome of Doug's beliefs and rhetoric. Like previous movements, the Cross-Species Alliance morally postures that those who despise zoophiles are equivalent to racists, sexists, and homophobes. Its biography also includes the hashtag LGBTZ, created in a pathetic attempt to retcon these freaks into the LGBT community. However, Doug's final push for justice was his most infamous yet. On March 7, 2019, a Twitter account named The Exposure Solution would tweet the following: "We have a problem. Animals are being taken advantage of every single day, and people are too ambivalent to do anything about it. Exposing zoophiles is the solution to the problem. We need to put them out where everyone can see them and expose them for what they really are. Zoophiles like to call people zoophobes when they call out their behavior. If you wear that title with pride, then join our hate party movement. We'll show zoos exactly how we feel about their sexuality." On March 20th, 2019, we will be launching a new podcast, the first of its kind, dedicated to exposing the zoo community for what it is. We want outrage. Help spread the word. We're going to start a movement and change the conversation forever. Join the hate party. How do you join the hate party? Easy. Use the hashtag hateparty tag on Twitter. Follow us and check out our site expose.id. Tell everyone exactly what you think about zoophiles. And of course, tune into the first episode of our podcast, The Exposure Solution, on March 20th. What can you expect from our podcast? Right off the bat, we'll be exposing a secret zoophile, someone who's pretty famous in fact. We'll have another one for you every single episode. So we hope you're ready to show your teeth, hashtag hate party. We want all ears tuned in on March 20th. Inevitably, that day would come, and the Exposure Solution would go public.
The first zoophile to be exposed is a household name in the fantasy community. He's even appeared in movies, on television, and has had roles in video games. This zoophile is...
the Lord of Horses himself, Shadowfax!
You see, the Exposure Solution was actually the name of the first episode of the Zooier Than Thou podcast. The celebrity in question they sought to expose was Shadowfax, the non-fictional horse of Gandalf the Grey. All of this was done simply to draw the attention of zoophiles and their detractors. This supposed group of internet vigilantes hell-bent on seeking justice for countless numbers of animals was nothing more than a ruse. In reality, Douglas Spink was behind all of it. Under his infamous online moniker, Fausty, he used this fake Twitter account as a promotion for his newest project. With the help of his co-host, Toggle the Rat, the two intended to fight for the rights of zoophiles.
When we started this podcast, I had been several months previously diagnosed with terminal stage 4 metastatic malignant melanoma that had spread to my lungs, and this was really intended to a degree as my swan song and my last opportunity to give something back before I wrapped up shop and and headed on to greener pastures.
Just about everyone familiar with Zooier Than Thou was well aware of Douglas Spink, earning himself a Kiwi Farms thread posted in November of 2018. Toggle the Rat, on the other hand, had no intentions of revealing his identity. Typically when posting selfies, Toggle used his iPhone's Memoji function to replace his head with a cartoon mouse. While this was successful in covering his face, it still left a trail of breadcrumbs that could potentially reveal his identity. In 2018, Toggle attended Midwest Fur Fest, posting multiple pictures of himself with friends at the convention. One photo in particular showed him out of his fursuit and in street clothes, wearing a gray zip-up hoodie, a black t-shirt, and a pair of glasses. People began searching for clues, eventually stumbling upon a photo posted by a user named Fink, featuring a man who fit the description, wearing a similar outfit and pair of glasses. Kiwi farmers also managed to find a Twitter account for a Memphis-based animal rock band called Exit Mouse. They eventually stumbled across a video of their vocalist doing warm-ups, who looked identical to the man in the first photo. Both of these images also share a resemblance, with the avatar's Toggle publicly posted to his Twitter account, featuring short brown hair, patchy facial hair, and glasses. On top of this, both the Exit Mouse and Toggle the Rat Twitter accounts used the character creating software Hero Forge around the same time. Toggle also posted a picture of a new mask he had bought, which the lead singer of Exit Mouse also happened to own. While both of these could be pure coincidence, it certainly adds credence to the theory. As people dug deeper, they discovered a post made on Bandcamp in 2017, revealing the original name of the band was Husky in Denial, before changing it to Exit Mouse. During this era of the band, the vocalist's online moniker was Smooch This Pooch, demonstrated through archives of the band's Twitter. With this Twitter, Kiwi farmers managed to find more pictures of the vocalist, along with pictures of his husband, Trevor. Most notably, however, the Husky in Denial Tumblr account was found, where the man carelessly doxed himself while showing off his new guitar strings, revealing his name as Buck Riley. This coincides with both his Twitter and for affinity accounts identifying himself as Buck. While the new address in the photo was out of date, Buck's husband, Trevor, accidentally leaked their new address when venting his frustrations at Grubhub not delivering his Taco Bell on time. Kiwi Farms users were able to locate his new home on Google Maps and confirmed his residency with a Facebook post showing the front yard and unique metal lattice trim. This post in particular was also a crucial piece of evidence that Toggle the Rat was in fact Buck. Posted on February 18th of 2020, Trevor states that a stray dog was abandoned near their home and asked his followers if anyone would be willing to take him in. Coincidentally, 3 days later, Toggle the Rat posted about an abandoned dog that he and his husband had been taken care of. Another alternate alias, Clunk, was also discovered, as people found two posts that were nearly identical being posted by Husky in Denial and Chipmunk Clunk. This led investigators to find a list of fetishes posted by Clunk. These included age play, animals, grandfather/grandson, and underage characters. This also coincides with Buck's frequent and bizarre defense of cubs, which are underage furry characters. Eventually, through more digging, Kiwi farmers were able to find out that Buck was only a nickname, with his real name being Charles Alexander Berry. Hypothetically, there is a chance that all of these parallels are simply a long string of unfortunate coincidences. However, this is very unlikely to be the case. It seems that Toggle became aware of Doug through his Cross Species Alliance Twitter account. Their first encounter actually sparked a disagreement regarding the infamous zoo sadism leaks of September 2018, during which Toggle, at one point, referred to the account's admin as petulant. However, this insult would not sour the future relationship between the two. Shortly after, Toggle happened to begin reading Uniquely Dangerous when he noticed that the Cross Species Alliance was referenced in the book. He quickly put two and two together and realized that Doug Spink was behind the account.
And I noticed in Maloney's description of the ransacked little shack that he lived in that the words Cross Species Alliance was written on a whiteboard in the background. So I messaged him later and I was like, hey, is this account run by Doug Spink? And he was like, yeah, there's a few people that run this account, but it's me typing right now.
The two struck up a friendship, and eventually Doug would inquire about starting a podcast. Thus, Zooier Than Thou was born. A brief description on the show's website reads, Zooier Than Thou is yet another monthly podcast covering the zoophile community and all things zooey and wonderful, featuring current events, dating advice, and insider tips on rubbing shoulders with the Zooluminati elite, all with a great deal of silliness. Zooier Than Thou sets itself apart from the pack with an openly positive and joyful interpretation of what it is to be a zoophile. Hosts Fausti and Toggle bring 2 lifetimes of animal activism and cross-species romance to the mic, with the help of a dedicated cast and crew of zooey talent. There may be hundreds of others out there doing the same thing, but Zooier Than Thou aims to do it the best. Zooier Than Thou is no different than Doug's other efforts to normalize his degenerate sexual interests, the main difference being the layer of irony and satire, likely used to shield himself from terms of service violations. A notable quote comes from the very first episode, where the two hosts explain the nuance of their self-described activism.
Zoos, we've always known better, though. It's not about the humans, it's about everybody. So with this podcast, what we're really all about is celebrating primarily the non-human side of things. Their agency, their wisdom, their interests, and above all else, the well-being of the non-humans that share our lives. They do deserve their own voice. More than that, they deserve to have their agency and their adulthood both respected and embraced.
So true. And treating animals as if they have no desires, no free will, no autonomy. It's dishonesty like that which allows us to tolerate heinous factory farm practices, to imprison and torture hundreds of millions of our sentient brethren.
That and more. To castrate them, to mutilate them, to literally cut off the adult parts of them. A purely non-consensual violence towards victims who are completely unable to defend their own bodies from these attacks. All of these terrible, terrible things we do to other species serve to reinforce a frankly evil worldview that sees animals as sexless, powerless, childish, forever enslaved, quote-unquote, lower beings. Everything about that is just awful. We as zoos directly challenge the assumed separation of humans from everybody else who shares residency on this planet with us. As zoos, we undermine that imaginary distancing by truly and genuinely embracing our non-human colleagues as equals, as friends, as partners.
The irony of advocating for animals as helpless victims of attacks and castration, only to moments later describe them as equal to human beings, is laughably stupid. Especially when you consider things like animal castration typically happen in the context of medical benefits. Food production. Nothing positive comes from having sex with your dog. Logical fallacies are a staple of the Zooier Than Thou podcast, with a healthy dose of cope and cognitive dissonance. To be fair, this is unsurprising, considering it's pretty difficult to make a good faith effort to defend zoophilia. Zooier Than Thou also dedicates time to responding to fan mail in a segment called Ask Zooey. It's severely unlikely that any of this mail is actually real, considering the first bit of mail they read was written by a dog, in their words. In this section, the two hosts dedicate time to essentially joking about the abuse of animals, in the same way that a regular human might joke about normal sex.
Our first letter today comes from Nutty in Nova Scotia. Nutty writes, Dear Zooey, I love my human dearly, and recently we've decided to take that to the next level. But I've discovered he has a very strange fetish for peanut butter, and I simply don't understand. I try to indulge him, but the peanut butter just gets stuck to my gums, and I end up licking my teeth more than I'm licking his junk. And what's worse, by the time I finally finish cleaning it off him, he slathered even more onto his balls. I want to make my human happy, but I don't know how much longer I can stand the taste of peanuts. What should I do?
Ah, yes, peanut butter is a common fetish for humans.
Indeed. You hear about it in movies and TV all the time.
Well, Nutty, it might seem awkward, but perhaps it's best to sit your human down and have an honest talk about his peanut butter fetish. Often, humans believe that their partners love the taste, and by continuing to indulge him by licking it off, you're accidentally reinforcing this expectation.
It's very uncanny to see how desensitized these individuals are to their disgusting habits. They also use this segment to go into graphic detail about how to coerce animals, which for obvious reasons I won't be showing you. But the real cherry on top for these podcasts are the sponsored segments. You may be asking, who would sponsor a podcast like this? And the answer is no one. The sponsorships are fake. These sponsored segments, much like their Ask Zooey segment, are satirical ad placements for fake companies and businesses who also indulge in the exploitation of animals.
Looking to spice up your night with an unforgettable experience? Come on down to Tijuana Tommy's. Tommy's delivers what we assume is an authentic Tijuana experience. Tamales, sports, and live talkie shows. Visit us every weeknight from 5 to 8 for our happy hour drink special. 2 sparkling hot tub shots. Right from the tap for only $2.
It's likely that Toggle and Doug loaded their podcast to the brim with jokes and irony to feign some sort of satirical identity and avoid the repercussions of YouTube's terms of service. This doesn't work too well for anyone familiar with Doug in particular, as he has a long online paper trail indicating he means everything he says. Most of the episodes in this podcast follow a similar structure, with a solid chunk dedicated to quote-unquote parody, and the rest dedicated to genuine advocacy for zoophilia. That being said, it's important to highlight and dissect some of these specific talking points and notable events of the show's history. One event that happened 5 months before the podcast starting up were the aforementioned Zoosadism leaks of September 2018. It all started when a Twitter user by the name of Zoodanim uploaded a thread exposing a handful of prominent furries as zoosadists. Some of these names include Zyro, Techno Husky, and Kiro the Wolf. Attached to these tweets were chat logs and videos featuring various animals being tortured and abused. Zoodanim was a zoophile themselves, who claimed to be disgusted by the actions, messages, and videos shared in various Telegram chat rooms they frequented. You see, Zoodanim claims that zoophiles, who have relations with animals are totally fine, while on the other hand he calls out zoosadists, which are people who derive pleasure from physically maiming animals. Doug himself makes his hatred of zoosadists no secret.
Zoosadism, by definition, is the torture of other beings in order to derive pleasure from the pain they experience. This is one of the most horrible, most evil, most fucking disgusting things that human beings can do. There is no clinical or documented connection between zoosadism, which revolves around pain and misery and is not sexual in any meaningful sense, and zoophilia, which is a sexual orientation and involves reciprocal intimacy between adults who choose to engage in sexual relations with each other.
The reality is, as much as he postures about it, Doug doesn't actually care about animals in the way he'd like you to believe. His history of pimping out his self-described lovers and putting knives to their throats is the greatest indication of that. Rather, his hatred of zoosadists likely comes from the bad smell they leave behind. Doug attempts to promote zoophilia as a normal and healthy sexuality, and claims the existence of zoosadists do nothing but accelerate anti-zoo rhetoric. Yet, Doug was not entirely thrilled with the leaks. In fact, he goes out of his way to discredit the information revealed, and even stands up for the most prominent individual, Kiro the Wolf.
These aren't leaks, because there's no way to confirm the authenticity of what's actually been released, the majority of which is really just text files that people claim are Telegram chat logs. And unfortunately, some people involved in hyping this up last fall were actually caught circulating fake and even malware-laden documents during these claimed leaks. So there's no way to know what's real and what's fake, text-wise. Obviously, I'm not denouncing anyone without actual evidence they did something. Not just someone else said that they heard that some other guy heard that kind of kindergarten bullshit. I asked to see the evidence, for these accusers to point to images or videos. If the evidence existed, we'll make it public. Not text chat logs, which are so trivially easy to fake. I personally hope that Kiro can survive this terrible episode, and whatever his strengths or failings as a person and as a young man in the community at large, that he can use this experience to become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate in the future.
Doug prefers that zoosadists be dealt with privately and quietly, likely because any negative attention drawn to them will also reflect on zoophiles. Despite claiming to be disgusted with zoosadism, he intentionally avoids getting the police involved when dealing with them.
I've already disclosed my own history in working with ad hoc groups to address zoosadists in the past. For us, it's simple. It wasn't about getting lauded publicly or getting people arrested or getting people ostracized from the community. For us, success was making sure these people could never hurt another animal ever again. That's the goal, obviously. Now, short of that goal, we would deem our efforts to be a failure. That's pretty simple, isn't it? The reason you go after zoosadism isn't because they, quote, make us look bad, or because it's fun to chase people around, or because you don't want to bring heat on you by being around. No. You do it because they're monsters. They hurt others for pleasure. That's just so damn clear.
And as animal lovers, that really does seem like the reasonable benchmark for the success of a project like this.
Okay, so using that as a benchmark, let's take a look at last fall's zoosadist leaks and determine just how successful they were. Because some of the zoos who were really, really close to all this, they claim they were infiltrating all this zoosadist talk, but I have my own personal concerns about how they ended up so tangled up in the middle of all this as zoos, because, I don't know, me personally, I never seem to get tangled up with zoosadists, you know?
In reality, his concerns with zoosadism is nothing more than half-hearted virtue signaling, all done in a pathetic attempt to posture zoophiles as morally righteous animal lovers. This sentiment of zoophilia being all about love is heavily expanded on in the 4th episode of the podcast. With Doug absent, likely busy with his cancer treatment, Toggle conducts a solo interview with a person named Kion. Kion supposedly had been in the zoo community as long as Doug had, meaning he was an active member in the earliest days of the internet. It was during this time that he was producing not safe for work content featuring animals and posting it online for other people who like that stuff to see. Funnily enough, during this episode, the hosts themselves go on to discuss how there are many moral complications that can come with traditional human-on-human sex work. And they go on to discuss the various philosophical quandaries that come with involving animals and such a thing. This is where Kion tries to make a distinction between bestialism and zoophilia.
Bestialist is very much the physical aspect, more of a, it's titillating because it's a dog. that there's an interest in sticking a dick in something or receiving a fucking from an animal that's exciting and novel because it's an animal, rather than having formed any sort of relationship with the animal of trust and familiarity. You can't jump a fence and